Hello, everyone. This is our introduction to Cognос Analytics session. I'm Yelena, and I'm going to be your Cognos Analytics System Administrator. So this is our first session. We have a lot to cover, but trust me, I'll tell you up front, you will need to watch this session more than once. All right? So here is the agenda. We're going to cover the Cognos Analytics environment, how to get started, including your access. We'll talk about the interface navigation, data sets versus data module, data preparation, data exploration, and more. Okay? Now, what is Cognos Analytics? It's a self-intuitive web-based interface. The whole idea is the data gets uploaded. As the data was uploaded, Cognos tried to analyze the relationship between columns, and it tried to extract the useful information for you. And it supports visual data exploration without writing any Java or R or Python code. You just drag and drop data into the canvas, and it gives you insights, right? Also, based on the visualizations that you're currently looking at, it can give you the set of related visualizations that you might be interested in. You may build dashboards and stories, which is saved for the next session. Then you can show data that is being visualized, and in general, Cognos supports reporting, which reporting not going to be covered, but in general, just know it's supported. Important, please do not use the browser back button because you're going to lose your work. Deletions cannot be undone. If you delete data, that's it. Everything where you use the data for visualization will become invalid. This is not your PC, no recycle bin. There is no way to recover. You cannot copy and paste text from your PC directly. You have to use the clipboard tool, and I'll show you how. You want to save your work at all times, and you want to start working on assignments early. So now, you might be wondering, how do I access Cognos Analytics? Well, first step is to go to the site, vdi.umgc.edu, and you're going to be asked your university credentials. You might be asked. So if you are logged into your classroom in another browser session, this is a single sign-on. You might not be asked anything. But this is a site, right? If you ask to enter your university credentials, that's going to be your university email and the password that you access the Leo, right? Okay, so next step is this. You're gonna log in, and you're gonna see the Cognos Analytics shortcut. Oops, see, I got logged out. I have to refresh. Here we go. You're gonna see the shortcut, right? When you log into vdi.umgc.edu, you're gonna see the shortcut, Cognos, and you're gonna click on open, right? And it's gonna take a minute, and it's gonna take you to Cognos login screen. At Cognos login screen, what do you enter? You need to pay attention right now. Your user ID is your university username. How do you know your university username? You have your student email, don't you? So if your student email is like msmith@studentumgc.edu, msmith is going to be your user ID for Cognos. Your password is going to be welcome with first letter W capitalized, number 3, LCOME exclamation point. Okay? Do you use, well, you can use apps, excellent. You can use apps, and Cognos will be there too. Excellent, thanks, Bracy. Yes, there are two ways. If you don't see the shortcut, you can go to apps, and Cognos will be there. That's an alternative way to access, okay? Yes, in the Citrix workspace, you can go to apps, and Cognos will be there too. That's correct. Okay, so that's Cognos. And you're going to use your name, user ID, which is part of your email, first part of your student email. and the password is welcome. See the word welcome, the number letter E is replaced with number 3 because I had to have one number in the password. Number 3 is above letter E in the keyboard, an exclamation point. This is how you access. All right. But for me, I will use a separate account. I'm not going to use my admin account for the demo. I'm going to use demo account. But the demo account that I'm using right now has the same permissions that your student account, okay? It has the same permissions. All right. So now let's go back. All right. Right. So I may have to repeat this information later today, but what I'm saying is this is your student ID and not your password. Everybody password is the same. At the top, you see that menu bar, but on that menu bar, all you need to actually know is that's a clipboard. So if I have to copy paste something from my computer, I need to copy to this clipboard first. Then I copy from clipboard to wherever I need to paste that to, right? Okay. Next thing is, that's a Cognos. That's a Cognos interface. That's a Cognos landing page, right? So what do you see here? That Canvas section, that's going to be different depending on what file you have open. At the moment, I'm on a welcome page, also known as a home page. What do I have in here? My content, those are the files that belong to me. This is my work. Only I have access to it. Nobody in my class, nobody else has access to it, only me, right? Team content, those are the files that are shared with you. What do you see in there? This folder, calendars, get started, samples and templates. These 4 folders were pre-installed when Cognos was set up. And in samples, there are some samples. You're not going to turn it in for your grade, but there are some sample exploration, sample dashboards that you could check out. And see those things, this is a path that shows where I'm currently in within the folder. So I'll go back to team content. This folder is very important. This is data for your assignments. The way it's organized is, see, you click on it, and it's broken down by assignment. This is assignment getting started, the work that is due next week, but you want to get it done as soon as possible because your assignment 2 is not visible in the classroom until you submit get started assignment. So you have to submit get started assignment first, then you're going to have access to assignment 2, right? For assignment 2, this is a national housing data that you will use. Assignment 4 is a continuation of 3. So what will happen is that you're going to choose the data for assignment 3 and 4. You're going to use the same data set, and you've got 6 choices here. All right? Then assignment 5, but 5, you're going to have a separate talk next time. Right? So what you will need to do for the getting started assignment is this. You're going to go to this folder. This is the data. You have to make a copy of this data to my content. So to do that, what you do is you click here. This opens what's called context menu. And here you have a copy or move, and you're going to copy. Notice this is gray out right now because you need to select the correct folder. And the correct folder is going to be what? My content, right? And I'm going to just do here copy to, not move to, but copy to. Because move to deletes the file from original location. And you have read-only permission for team content. So you have to do copy to. Right? What did it do? I go to my content and I copied this to my content. And you'll work from it. This is a data set. Data set is just the CSV or Excel file that was loaded straight. You cannot preview the content of it. You cannot add any calculations. You cannot modify it. But what you could do is, this is what you're going to do in your first assignment. You're going to you're going to build the data exploration in your very first assignment. The purpose of the first assignment is to show that you can log in, right? Okay, I'll show you copy and paste when we get to good example, all right? I promise I'll show it to you when we get to good example. You would just need to copy the text to the clipboard, okay? No worries. Thank you. So if I don't, remind me, but I will. Okay, so what is this? This is what you had recently accessed. I have not anything. I cleared all recent before the demo, right? And everything that you have recently accessed is also going to show here. Make sense, right? This is new. You can create new explorations from here, but you would have to specify the data source, right? You can also, I created detailed video. You can search for files. Like if you don't remember where you saved the file, so I put the word claims and it's going to show me all locations where I have access to. The files at locations where I have access to. Another thing that I did in team content, there is also folder. This is a walkthrough data. If you are the one who likes to follow along, so that I saved this claims and weather data. That's claims and weather data that I saved for that I'm going to be using tonight. Okay, I saved the copy. If you like to follow along, you just make a copy to your folder. All right. So next thing, we don't use a back button, but everything that you have opened is going to locate it here. All the files that you have opened will be located here. All right. So I just spelled out things here for you. And I showed you how to access preloaded data, right? This is a data set that we're going to use for tonight's demo. Insurance claims records. You have customer information such as customer ID, a country, state, and you have the insurance coverage that the customer has, such as effective to date and the coverage type. Then you have information on the vehicles that customer drives, the claim type, and the goal is to estimate the total claim amount. Another thing, please notice that you have missing data in here. Blank, 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 see this? Those are missing data. We're going to talk tonight about handling missing values. Cool? Some records are missing values. And we're going to talk tonight about how to handle those missing values. But see this, the first line here are the column names. When the data was uploaded, the column names were read from this file. All right? So I mentioned data set, but there is also something called data module. Data set, you cannot preview the data directly. It's just a CSV or Excel file. You cannot customize the data. You cannot add calculations. You cannot preview data directly. But for the data module, it's customizable. The customizations are reusable. So basically, I can create my calculations, and I can use the calculations everywhere else where I use the data module as a source. You may preview data directly, and in general, you may combine multiple data sources. It's outside the scope, but just know that it can be done. So how do we create data module? I'm going to my content. This is the data set that I'm going to use. I click on the context menu, and I do it create data module. That's one way. Notice that my data set immediately is selected as a source. That's a data set name. See that? Claims and weather. And what is this? Those are the column names that were read from the file. But the file snapshot that I just showed you does not contain this column row ID. Row ID is a hidden column. When the column is hidden, you see it in the data module. It can be used for calculations, but it's not available in the user's view. It's hidden from the user's view. If I was going to make the column visible, I would have to right-click on it, and see this, I have it show to users. Right-click on it, hide from users, all right? Some columns are hidden for a good reason, such as perhaps if it's a customer name, it's a personal identifying information and you don't want it to be visible to users. So you don't delete it, but you would hide it, right? See this? I selected grid, and it shows me it's a preview of my data. Also, I see my column names in here. Next to each column name, you see different icons. The icons that you see is based on the data type. Then, what I could do is, like for example, this is I can find the total claim amount, right? This is a numeric column. When I click here, I can click on the column properties. What does it show me? This is a column name. Here, I can choose to hide it from users. Expression, that means in this particular case, I take the column, I read the column from file directly. I read the column from the Excel file straight, no other manipulation, but we'll be editing expression tonight for one of the columns. All right? And usage, it's a measure. And aggregate, this is very important. Aggregate tells you how the data is being summarized. So if I want to see the total claim amount by state, I don't like to see the sum of all claims. I want to see the average. So what I want to do is, I want to change this to an average, right? This is how the column is being summarized. And I want to look at the average. What it represents, I'll just keep it as is, no lookups. Comments, this is if I want to put something like a column description. Screen tip is what appears when I hover over the column in visualizations. And I believe that's almost it. Supports null values. It means if the check, it means that the column probably has missing values. And that's a technical data type. So that's a data type that it is in a database because this is stored in a database, right? Another thing that is very important, you have to save your work. See, this is a floppy disk, and I want to save. And how do I want to save it? I want to save it where? In my content. And I'm going to save it as claims and weather data module. This is how you save it. Another important buttons you have this, undo and redo. That will undo or redo the latest change. So important, right? Those two buttons, you know that. So sometimes if you don't see the column, you can search for it. Income, for example, right? I search for it, and it will show it here, right? Another thing is for the income, you may want to do the same change. So if I go here, and I want to go to the properties, because when I visualize my income column, I want to summarize it by the average. I change it here. If I make a change here instead of exploration, I will be able to see this change. I will be able to see it everywhere in all explorations where I use this where I use this data module. Now, please take a note here. What does it say? Null. Null means that the value is missing. I don't have a value in this cell, right? For this one, location code is missing, monthly premium is missing, etc. See? But I noticed that a lot of columns are missing data where the effective date is not specified for the value for effective due date is not specified. It's just an observation, okay? So here I showed you how to create a data module. We just created one, and I'm spelling out the interface of the data module here. Also note, if I wanted to go back to the welcome page, here how? See that? There is a welcome in here. This shows you what you have opened at a moment. See, that's a welcome, right? Then you've got your undo, and you've got your redo. Another thing, if you see that asterisk next to this, it means that your latest changes have not been saved. If you don't see the asterisk, it means that you've saved the latest change. All right. Okay, so I showed you the properties of the column, right? So usage, it could be identifier. Identifier usually used for grouping or summarizing, or for the date and time column. Measure is a numeric data. Attribute is usually a text column, right? So, and the data type, it's inherited from the source. You cannot edit the data type because you inherit it. Like, for example, it could be text, right? Okay. Data preparation. Data preparation involves adding filters, hiding certain column, changing column properties, like what I just did, right? I showed you how to hide, show column, and I showed you how to send, how to change the aggregation types, how data is summarized. We will talk about handling missing values and different options. You can filter rows with missing values. You can impute missing values. You can hide a column when most of the values are missing. You can treat the missing value as a special value for categorical column. You can identify extremely large values or outliers. You can add the calculations. You can do data groups and navigation paths. But we're gonna start. I showed you how to hide the column, right? That's the easiest one. Adding filters. Filter specifies the conditions that must be met for the row to state. To define the filter, you can define the expression. Expression returns a value. There are two types of filters, embedded filter and selectable filter. So here we're sort of like killing two birds in one stone. We're going to create an embedded filter that will filter out the rows that have a missing effective to date, okay? PowerPoint presentation will be available. Excellent. Yes, Mike, this PowerPoint presentation will be available after this session. You will have the slides. Yes. It was not posted earlier because in case sometimes I have to make some last minute changes or anything like that. All right. So no problem. It will be available to you and the recording as well. All right. So you may define the filter at the whole table level or at the column level. You may define multiple filters in the same data module, but the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to define embedded filter. Embedded filter are applied immediately. Selectable filter is what you can turn on and off, all right? But we're going to do the embedded filter, and we're going to do effective to date is missing. So what you need to do is you go here, and you click here, and you're going to select manage filters right here. Not filter upstairs, but manage filters. All right, you're going to select manage filters. Okay. Okay. Oh, okay. Yes, the assignment getting started. Oh, yes. Excellent. Excellent. Thank you guys for answering the question. Those are, yeah. So, yes, excellent. There is a folder. There is a folder that I just showed you. And that folder has data, right? That folder that I just showed you, it has data for your assignment. And you will need to copy the data. Okay, excellent. Thank you guys for answering each other's question. But see, this is the, so what I did, I selected filters. Now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna select expression editor. I'm gonna select expression editor. Now I'm gonna select add filter. This is the expression editor. What do I see in here? I see my columns. Those are the columns in my data, right? What do I want to do? I want to say effective to date is not missing. I can just do this. This time I'm gonna drag and drop. Next time when I create next filter, I'm gonna copy and paste from slides, okay? This time I'm just gonna I'm gonna drag and drop. Effective to date, right? What about effective to date? Here are the operators. The operator I want to use is not missing. Effective to date is not missing. So everywhere, all rows where effective to date is null, gonna be filtered out. Let's make it a descriptive name, and filter name is effective to date is not missing, right? I want to use descriptive names. Otherwise, later on, there is no way to tell how it's defined without looking at the definition. All right? Now what I need to do, always do this. Validate the syntax. My syntax is valid. I'm good right now. Right? That's it. So while I do this, immediately the filter is applied to data. So there are no more missing values in effective to date. The rows were filtered out, right? No more. I filtered that out. And this is a filter. If I have to edit it at any time, I click here and I can edit my filter definition, right? Now, there is another type of filter called selectable filter. It's a filter that I can turn on and off for my visualizations. So in the example here, suppose that I want to look at the cars where policy type is personal and the vehicle size contains small. I'm going to use copy and paste for this example. But how do I create the selectable filter? I go here and I select this filter. It opens up this expression editor. Now I'm going to do this. I'm going to copy and paste. I go to my PowerPoint. I grab this, Control C, right? I grab this. On Mac, maybe it's different, but this I have Windows, so I go Control C. Now I go to my VGA, right? I cannot do that directly. I have to go here. This is a clipboard. I open the clipboard. I paste it here. Then I go paste it here. There is a syntax error, and I left it intentionally here. All right. So now what it does, it says policy type. It's one of the columns. It contains the word personal, and the vehicle size contains small. Right now, when I validate it, I'm going to see the error. And it's because the quote, it's a Microsoft Word quote. That's it. I fixed it. Now when I validate, there should be no error. Expression is valid. But notice that I have two conditions in here. You use and. Both conditions must be true if the filter is applied. Policy type contains personal. Vehicle size contains the word small. What else you could do? Well, preview does not make much sense at this point. But also there is something called prettify. It just formats it. It nicely formats it for you. All right? Now I have to name it. I need to put descriptive name. Personal policy for small vehicles. I want to have descriptive name, and later I'll show you why. Now, I don't click on Next button. What do I click instead? I have to click on OK button. Click on OK. Notice this time the filter is added as a column here. It looks like a column. The data is not filtered out. Based on my condition, it's not filtered out, right? Because if I look at it, right? If I look at it, see, here I can always edit filter, right? So see this policy type, it has to be personal. But if I go to my column policy type, it's not necessarily personal, right? Because I did not apply the filter right away. What it did, see this? I see corporate. Why do I see corporate? Because selectable filter is not applied immediately. It will be applied later when I tell it to apply. Not immediate. Now I'm going to do save. And we are not done yet with missing values. Because your column Well, you can filter the rows, but the problem is sometimes you may lose data when you filter rows. So there is an alternative approach to handle missing values. And we'll do that for the income column. If income is missing, we want to show the column average. If income is not missing, we want to show it as is. So what I'll do right now, I'm going to find my income column, go to the properties, and I'm going to edit the expression. So what I need to do is I'm going to use the construct in here. And the construct is this, if then else, right? So what is the condition? The condition is this. I'll just copy paste. Income is missing. Notice if I type, it just tells me the function, right? So if an income is not missing, right? In the else condition, I want to keep an income here, right? Now, but if income is missing, what do I want to do? I want to go here and I want to take average. And what do I want to take an average of? I want to take an average of income, right? So if else, if condition is true, then do this. Otherwise, do that. See this? So if, right? If I click on if, it's going to tell me here what this does. It explains how this expression works. Okay? So now I'm just going to do prettify. I like it indented to see well. And you also want to validate. If it's invalid, the whole data module will be invalid, which we don't want. Okay? Now we do okay, and we're going to save it. Oh, notice that some income values were filled with the average. All right? It's filled with an average now. So we got this piece. There will be part of the presentation where I will go in a little bit, not in order of the slides, but we'll figure out. Now, next thing, we are ready to create an exploration. What you will do now, we close this, we saved it. How do I know I saved it? No asterisk. I close it. Now, see this? It added my data module to the recents. And it appears in my content because I saved it in the my content. You'll be saving everything to my content. This is a data module. I can go here and I can just do create exploration. That's one way, right? I did create an exploration. Well, what do we see here? We see a lot of stuff. Remember this. This is a data set name that was used to create a data module. We're using claims and weather data module as a source. It picked it up because I did not just select new at the bottom and select exploration. I click on the context menu and chose create exploration, right? Those are the columns in the data. Same thing, different icon for different data type. But what is this? This is a filter. If I did not use the descriptive name, there is no way in the world to know how this is defined. I would have to go back to my data module to see how this is defined. Right? So that is a filter. Then here you have columns, right? But remember, we changed how the column is being summarized. So if I go to these properties here, I see that this is an average, right? I made the change. On the other hand, there are other columns where I did not make the change, right? So if I look at the monthly premium, for example, I did not make the change, right? So in the properties, if I want to summarize monthly premium by state, it's going to do the total. Well, I can go ahead and make a change in here. I want to look at the average. I'll make a change, but this change will apply only to this data module. If I was going to create another data, to this data exploration, if I was going to create another exploration from the same data module, the change that I just made will not be available. Right? So you have to make changes in data module. It's best to make changes in data module. I'm going to save it. Do you see this floppy disk? I'm going to go save it. I'll save it in my content. I know by default it selects sim content, but you have to save it in my content. And I'll call it claims and weather exploration, okay? All right, now what do you see here? This is the data, right? Here you don't have anything. This is a set of visualization right now, no cards. I have not done anything yet, right? I'm gonna show you the assistant later and I'm gonna show you pins, probably pins next time, right? So here, undo, redo. Remember undo, redo? You've seen that before? In here, what is this? Each column is represented as a pin. The dark pin here, this is a suggested column for exploration. See this across the top? I see the columns that Cognos is suggesting me to explore. And it says that probably total claim amount is the best target in this data, and I'm going to keep it, total claim amount. I'm going to be staying with predicting total claim amount today. What else is in here? The rest of the columns that are stronger predictors, that it believes are stronger predictors, are listed here. And you see the connecting arc between the columns. If you hover over the arc, it's going to give you the connection strength. For example, marital status and total claim amount, the strength is 18%. So I think it's showing you above certain thresholds. That's what it does. Like see here, coverage and the monthly premium, the strength is 52%, etc. You can click here and it's going to give you suggested visualization. See, this is correct. It's giving you the average. One way to add visualization is just to click here on the plus. It's going to add a visualization card. Right, this is a driver analysis, and we'll talk about driver analysis. You see, I can add another one, etc. What else you could do is see this, you can do see more, it will show you more visualizations. It just believes that something you're interested in. You can also, I selected this one, I can select another column, and it's going to give me a set of visualizations that are applicable to those two columns. See, and I can select any of this. I can select any of this, right? Like, for example, I want this one. And I selected it. That's one way to add visualizations, all right? You can use this diagram. Next thing, since I started, well, another thing you can do is this. New, single. Then you can go to the, you can click on choose type. It opens the visualizations library. And I want to choose the spiral diagram. So I have to scroll. Sometimes it's a little bit, okay. It's in analytics groups. Okay, here. So I want to choose the spiral visualization. So I'm going to click on it and I'm going to add this. But right now I don't see visualizations because since it's called data slots, I need to specify what column I'm visualizing. In this case, I want to visualize the driver. I want to visualize the drivers for the total claim amount. I just drag and drop. See, if you see that little asterisk, it means that you must specify something to do visualization. What is this? This is called the driver. Those are the drivers, right? It's bullseye diagram. Another name for this. There is a one-way driver, two-way drivers, and a combination. So let's uncheck this for right now. Those are the single columns that could have a relationship with total claim amount. And see, for each one, you have the percentage strength. The driver with the one-way driver with the highest percentage is going to be the first column the column that's used for the first split when you do decision tree. The single driver with the highest predictive strength is going to be the column that's used for the first split when we work on the decision trees. So this is one way, right? You can just click, you can just hover, and we'll show you the predictive strength. If I look at the two drivers, just two drivers, those are combination of two columns. Like, for example, the combination of monthly premium and marital status as a predictor for total claim amount. They have predictive strength of 35%, and etc. Right? From here, I cannot see the visualization. Sometimes I want to visualize this, right? Not from here. But see this, I can also click here, and it shows me predictive strength. See, I can toggle this. But what is this? The green one is a multiple drivers. So here, the combination of vehicle class, employee status, marital status, coverage, effective to date, vehicle size, monthly premium author are predictors for total claim amount, these three. But for a minute, remember that the vehicle class had the highest predictive strength one-way driver, right? Remember that. Now, see here, those are the visualizations that we added before. If I click here, what is this? This is called the driver analysis. This is a bull's-eye diagram sliced, if you will, okay? Target is total claim amount. And I can click on the individual driver and I can see my visualization. It will try to choose visualization based on the data types. So here, this is the single driver with the lower strength, because the stronger is the driver, it's more to the right, right? It's like a bull's-eye diagram sliced. So see this? This is a total claim. This is the income and total claim amount. See? That's what it does, income. Now, I can click on another one. That one is the total claim amount by employee status, right? This one is your total claim amount by claim amount, and etc. But I like this vehicle type. So I'll just go ahead and I click this. That's another way to add visualization. It added visualization, right? Another thing is this. What is this? This is going to be decision tree because you have multiple drivers, and I'm going to add this decision tree visualization because we're going to talk about it, right? I'll add this. Right here, you cannot toggle, but you can toggle on the spiral diagram. And see, you have different visualizations depending on the data types. See? So that one is a two-way drivers. That one is also, right? So this one is monthly premium, total claim, and and total claim, they predict the total claim amount. See? You can basically look at these visualizations and you add the visualizations that you like as a card, right? So I'm just going to click on it and add it. That's one way. But now, since I started talking about it, this is the decision tree, right? I click here. This is a decision tree. The tree contains a bunch of nodes, right? See this? So I can expand nodes and collapse. Basically, the way you read it is a set of rules. It's a flow chart. Have you seen, hopefully some of you might be familiar with seeing the flow chart before. So the way you do it, you will need to traverse this tree. So I'm going to collapse it, right? See this, you want to collapse, and we're going to look at the portions that's of interest to us. All right, so earlier before, I mentioned that the driver with the stronger strength, with the strongest predictive strength is used for the first split, right? So the whole idea is we need to build a model that I could use to estimate the total claim amount, right? So here we have records, we have data where total claim amount is known. What happens if I have another claim where claim amount is not known? I should be able to use my model to estimate the total claim amount, right? I need to build a model. How do I do this? So Cognos developed the decision tree. Decision tree is basically a set of rules. You can look at it as rules, right? So those are the predicted values. For instance, if the vehicle class, if it's a luxury car, and here, if this is an employment status as unemployed, medical leave, or disabled, or retired, and if those are the effective due dates, and I click on more, right? Then this is the estimated predicted value. And this is the number of records, a percentage of records to which the rule applies. I can filter or sort this, right, by predicted value. Come on. See, this is to sort. Here we go. This one, it shows me this is a set of rules. If the vehicle is a two-door car, two-door or the four-door, employment status is employed, monthly premium less than 94, vehicle size is medium and large, expect this predicted value. This is a set of rules that tree generate, but tree is just a diagram. So here I hover, and I know here the average claim amount for all records, the standard deviation, and this is number of records. It's 9,136 records. But remember, this is after we removed the rows. We applied the filter, right, to remove the rows missing effective due date. All right? Now I use the vehicle class as a first split. And I say, okay, what type of vehicle class do I have? Is it a two-door or four-door, or is it a SUV, or is it a luxury, right? Where does it fall? And if I have a two-door, I follow this path. Now what I do, I hover here, and if I'm driving the two-door or four-door car, well, I should expect my claim amount to be $351.43. It's an average for this class, right? And here, this is a standard deviation. Then it also tells me the percentage of vehicle to which this applies, a number of vehicles. And I don't know because it's too many still, and I still have other columns. I click on this. What do I see next? This is an employment. The employment column is the next column that is used for the split. And I'm going to be asking the question, am I employed? Am I on medical leave, disabled, or am I unemployed? Suppose that I'm employed. And I'm going to hover here. What do I see? This is the average claim amount for a vehicle class, two-door, or two-door car or four-door car, if employment is employed. I traverse from the root node down to the leaf node or terminal node, but I have not gotten to the terminal node yet. And note that the color code represents the claim amount, all claim amount. The darker, the higher. All right? So this is employment status is employed, and I see the percentage of rows to which the rule applies. I click next, keep going. Right, so let's minimize this. Monthly premium. Monthly premium is the next criteria used for splitting. Suppose that I'm under $94 per month. So this is the average claim amount for this condition where a vehicle class is a two-door or four-door, person is employed, and monthly premium under $94. Right? Next thing, let me click. I have not reached the end, right? And this is the vehicle size. And I'm looking at the medium size and large. So this is the average claim amount if vehicle class is a 2-door or 4-door, person is employed, this one is monthly premium less than 94, and medium size and large. I can also close this one. Oops, I can close that just to have more space. Now, that's it, right? I reached the end. This is the rule, right? I reached the end of this. Now I can also check this. This is if small, right? So here, this is the average claim amount for vehicle class. If it's a 2-door or 4-door, person is employed, a monthly premium is less than 94, and the vehicle class is small, right? Is this small? It's more. It's because the claim is higher for the small. And I also see the percentage of data to which the rule applies, right? And I can read my rules here, or I can see the rules on a diagram. And for a minute, let me collapse again. There is another visualization in here. And that visualization is called, see this is a tree sunburst. What it does is, well, instead of showing the rules, it tells me the percentage of data to which the rule applies. It's visualizing the percentage of data to which the rule applies. So I have, well, that's a whole thing, right? All claims. Next circle. Here I'm looking at the, I'm using the vehicle class as a split, right? Vehicle class. Most of my data, 71% is 2-door cars or 4-door cars. Then I have a small percentage of data of luxury cars. But again, if the number of records is small, it does not necessarily mean that those rules are not important, right? Those rules are called important too. Now in here, this is just SUV, right? Now what I can do, I can click on this slice, and that's going to take me to the next level. And the next level is employee status. So it's breaking down the 2-door cars slice, 2-door or 4-door cars, the slice is broken down to unemployed. This is on a medical leave, etc., and this is employed. See? And it shows me the percentage of data to which the rule applies. And I created a video where I'm looking at the sunburst and a tree diagram at the same time. See, as you expand it on one location, it expands in the other. See? So I created a video to explain this more in more details, right? So here, then for your assignment, when you take a screenshot, take the screenshot of the branch that you are discussing. You don't have to take the screenshot of the whole tree. It's not going to be readable, right? You see here, I look at it more. We talked about the income, remember? Then I can click on this slice, see this, etc. Right? So I can unclick or click inside, right, to close this, to collapse it, see, etc. You are asked to do more than one decision tree. In my case, what I could do is to create the second decision tree. I could look at perhaps the luxury cars, right? So what I could do, I could go here and I can duplicate this. I can duplicate this. Now I go to, this is a duplicate. What I could do is this. I go to the properties, right? So that's data slots, and I can add the filter, and the filter could be the vehicle class. So let's go to the data, and I can look at the vehicle class. Oops, oh, here it is. Vehicle class, local filter, and I can only look at the luxury cars. Luxury, right? That's one option that you have. Just to look at the luxury cars, that's it. Right? That's going to be my second decision tree. Because I know that I have some luxury cars that it's really hard, very hard to see. right? So I want to limit my rules to luxury cars. So that's the second decision tree. That's one way to do that. Look at the subset of data. Another way to do that is to look at the subset of columns. If I want to exclude certain columns, I would need to click here. I can click on edit drivers. And when I edit drivers, I can exclude some columns that I don't want to be used for analysis, right? That's it. If I want to use this too, I just exclude and I click OK. That will refresh the diagram, right? Then also for the nodes, I can choose to see the terminal nodes with the top 5 or terminal nodes with the lowest 5, or I can see all nodes, right? See this, I can expand and collapse, right, if I need to. Then there is a limit on number of nodes. I believe it's 36. It's on my other slide. All right. So just know that I showed you how to add visualizations, and we talked about the decision trees at the same time, right? Decision trees will show up later in the slides. But oops, I showed you that. Another thing is I need to show you the exploration interface. When you're looking at the exploration, and I'm going to pick this as a card, right? This is my card. Here it's showing me total claim amount by vehicle class and employment status. So here it's just the total claim. That's a color code. Columns, it's showing me which column is used for the column and which column is used for the road. So this is a data slot. If data slot has an asterisk, it means that that column is required. Details, sometimes it provides me useful insights about my data, but please do not copy this into your assignment. You want to summarize in your own words, all right? Those are the insights that were going from my data as I was uploading it. Now, another thing is that this here, I can click on it and it tells me what data is being visualized. See, clicking it, this is which data being visualized, and this is just preview the whole data. See, I can preview the data that I am visualizing. Another thing that you could do is, well, see this, it shows you this is your card too. You can change visualization type if you wanted to. And those are the different recommended visualizations. For example, I can change it to this, right? I can do that if I wanted to. Now, what else you could do is, if you don't like it, you can undo. Then, important part is that you can see related visualizations. Those are the related visualizations based on the ones that you're looking at. And you can click on this. You can click on it to add related visualization to your visualizations list, right? Sometimes there are details, sometimes there are no details. So this is now showing income by employee status, but I can also modify it. If I don't want it to show the employee status, I want to show something like a state, I can remove the employee status, right? There is an option here, remove the column, and I can add this, the state. Then earlier today, we created a selectable filter where I can look at the claim type for the small vehicle, and I can apply my filter here. See this personal policy by small vehicle, I can just drag and drop and apply my filter here. That's it. See, I can just apply it. Anytime I want to use that filter, I don't need to define it again. I created it once in the data module, and I can apply it here to my visualization as I need to. This is just the insights here. You can just click and it tells you the findings about your data. Sometimes there are insights, sometimes they're not. A pin, it just puts your visualizations in a favorite. It will become handy next time when we do the dashboard. you can pin the visualization and then reuse that pin from inside the dashboard. It will be useful next time. And if you don't like visualization, you can also delete it. To delete the card, I will just click here. It will delete the card. All right. Well, I talked about these ways to add visualization. There is another one. Another one is here. This, guys, you're gonna like it. It's gonna be your friend. Well, if I type data, it's gonna give me the list of data sets that I have access to, right? But I'll click more. Well, suppose I know that it's claims and weather, so I can just go in and see. Well, or I can type, I believe it's data, claims and weather. I believe it's this. Claims and weather. Let's see. Now it's running the command to search for the data, claims and weather. See? Oh, it says cannot find. All right. Let's do this. Let's save this. I'll get to the slide. Okay. So this is how to use visualizations, right? We talked about related visualization. You can explicitly choose and you can do related visualizations. We talked about this relationship diagram. Those are the suggested starting point. We talked about it. Okay, this is an embedded assistant. If you enter data, it should show you, well, the whole idea behind it, eventually you should be able, in the future versions of Cognos, you should be able to type question in English and it should answer it through visualizations, right? So you can click on help to see the commands that you can run, right? Like, for example, in here, I can click on help and it gives me the command. See, to see all data sets, you can type show data. If you type show data, it's going to show you all data sets that you have access to, right? Going back to my help here, right? In here, it says this. You can specify the data set name. Like, for example, show source, and then put the data set name. It's going to give you the information about that specific data set. Okay. Like, for example, I want to do show source, claims, and weather. So I'm just going to type this. Show source. It shows source, claims, and weather, right? It shows source. Oops, today it's not cooperating. Show source, claims, and weather. Usually it does. Oh, I click on more. It's not cooperative today. But when I click, oh, it's because it's sorted. I see why. So now you just scroll through and you can find your data set in here. You can do that. But also here, it is here, claims and weather. And I'm looking at claims and weather data module. Let's see. Okay, so this is a command. It runs show source, claims, and weather data module. I need to specify the whole command. So when you do this, it's going to show you the columns. These are the columns that are in your data. For each columns, I see column data type, if the column has unusually large or small values, and etc. Right? Total claim amount. This is a summarization column, etc. Right? I click on more. Now what I can do is I can click on a specific column. I click on the total claim amount. What is it going to do? It's going to give me the details for that column. And this is just columns that you might else be interested, right? Those are the fields related to the total claim amount that you might be interested in. But you also can take a look at what influences, right? What influences total claim amount. And you get a list of columns that could influence total claim amount. But this is the same as running this command. And if I want to rerun the commands that I already ran, I can just go up and click on this and click enter. All right? So this is how you use assistant. And also, See, that column appears in multiple data sources, so that's why it lists me multiple data sources in here. See, it lists multiple data sources where that column appears. But let's go back to what influences total claim amount. Then I can look at the visualizations here. Like, for example, I want to look at the marital status, right? So those are the visualizations. And I can click on new card, and I can select my visualizations from here. See, I can drag and drop my visualizations here. Then I can modify it, right? Like for example, I can add a filter. Remember, we created a filter before, right? So this is a filter that we created before here. I can drag and drop to add this here. See, I'm just showing you what selectable filter is. You can reuse it. And this is just showing you data that's being visualized, right? If it refreshes, it takes a little bit of time to refresh. It's supposed to show you data being visualized, right? So that's a visualization you have. You can also type your question here for assistant. It appears in two places. Save. Okay. Next thing, let's go back. I showed you that. And I have a video with details on assistant. So this is just the details. You can type show chart and show chart and then put two columns, total claim amount and coverage, and it will show you different charts. You can scroll through visualizations and add the ones that you like, right? Now we're going to create a navigation path. For this example, we're going to create it here, so it will not be available in other explorations where you use the same data source, but it's okay. So some data is hierarchical in nature. Let me give you an easier example. For instance, you can look at data 610 assignment 1 average grade for all semesters. Then you can drill down to look at just your semester. You can further drill down to look at your session. There are several data 610 sessions in this semester, right? So some data are hierarchical in nature, or you can look at the summarization for years. For a year, within a year, you can drill down to months. Within a month, you can drill down to specific date. Within a date, you can look at the hour, and etc., right? In this example, I'm going to show you now 2 levels. There is a video where I show you 3 levels. So we're going to go here, navigation path, and we're going to create, in our case, I want to look at the state and then location type inside the state. So I'm going to go to the here, and I'm looking at the state. All right, I'm looking at the state, and then I want to look at the location code inside the state. I just drag and drop the columns. And in here, the hierarchy name by default is going to be state and location code. It just copies the column name. You can edit it, but I like it like this, okay? Okay. So I created this hierarchy. What's next? Next is I can do this. I can create. So see, here is a visualization, right? Let me save this. What I could do is I can create the new. See this? I'm gonna go here and create new exploration. So here, and I'm gonna just go new here, new card. Now what I'll do, I can choose the visualization type, and visualization type is gonna be the tree map, right? Because I want to look at the parts of the whole. So that's gonna be tree map. And I select the hierarchy, and the hierarchy is this, right? So I'll just gonna drag and drop this hierarchy here. Oops. You have to select the state. Okay. Now for my size, I want to do the number of people, right? So customer, I'm going to do the customer because it's going to summarize by count. The summary for the customer is count. So it's going to give me the number of customers in each state. See, Iowa, Kansas, Missouri, Nebraska, Oklahoma, those are the states. But what does the hierarchy exactly means? It means this, I go here, I click here, right? And see this drill down. So I'm in Missouri, I drill down, and now I see for my Missouri, I see suburban, rural, and urban. See this? I see that. And I can see what data is being visualized. This is a data visualized. See? Rural, customer, and state. So here I see the data that I'm visualizing. Okay? See that? It's showing here. Good? So far, so good? This is the data being visualized. So now what we do is I can you save it. You have to always save it, right? So this is a hierarchy. It won't be available in other explorations because I created an exploration, didn't create it in data module. Okay. Now what we'll do, this is just an example. Different example, but example. Next thing is that you can create the calculations. Calculation is basically adds a new column. You use an expression. So now we're going to close this out and we're going to return to our data module. This is a data module. It appears in recents, right? What I had recently opened. Or you can also access it from the my content. Another thing is that if you want to remove something from recents, very important, do not do delete because delete deletes the file completely. If you want to remove from recent, you just select remove from recent, okay? Don't delete. Now what I'll do, I'm going to edit data module and I'm going to show you the calculation example. So in this case, I have a monthly premium. Suppose that I want to have a column called annual premium. So how do you do this? You go here, and one way is to do the monthly. I need to find monthly premium. Click here, create calculation. And, well, I like to use a calculation editor. So I want to call it annual premium, right? Annual. I want to call it annual premium. And I want to take my monthly premium and I'm going to multiply it by 12. That's it. Now what I do, I need to validate. Always do this validation. This is valid. I can do preview in this case. In this case, preview should make sense, right? So see this is annual and this is monthly, right? Multiplied by 12. So that's good. Click OK. What does it do? Calculation adds another column. Well, see this monthly, but it's going to add it to the front. By default, it's going to add it as first column. And if I want it, I believe I can drag and drop to change the columns positions. I can do that. If I want to, I can drag and drop. Sometimes it works, sometimes it does not. All right. So here it is. That's my annual premium. I can add more complex calculation. Let's see. We can do premium by state, can't we? So let's do that. Oh, I noticed that this is null. Why is it null? It's because the data in original column was null. Missing values. Some premium values are missing. It's just going to be null. So now let's see. I want to do the average monthly premium by state. Well, I can also click on that column, or I can just go here and do, if I do it here, well, you don't want to do this calculation yet. I'll show you what that is. So it's much easier to do it this way. Just go to the column, right? So in this column, I want to look at the monthly premium. I'm just going to do this. And I'm just going to do this calculation, right? Create calculation, use calculation editor. And in here, what I want to do is I want to call it state average. State average, state average, monthly premium auto. So it's going to show the average for the state where the claim is in. And in here, what you want to do is you want to take an average, right? Average, monthly premium auto. But in here, there is important information. Okay, look at the I, and it will show you. If you look at the I, it's going to show you the syntax, right? But in here, I want to show monthly premium for what? For the state, right? For the state. I always drag and drop to make sure I got it right. For the state, see? So that's supposed to show the monthly premium out for the state. And I'm going to just do this. Okay? Okay, let's see. Hopefully I did it right. Yep, see this? It added here as a column. And in here, it's going to show as a first column. See this? It's going to show here as a first column. And I could also do, I can just do this here. And I can do edit calculation. And I want to put this. I want to put the round function, right? And I want 0 digits after the decimal, right? I want 0 digits. Let's verify that it's correct. It should be, all right? I click OK. So now that's going to be rounded. See, that's rounded. I like to do the round, but why is it the same? It's because it's the same state. If I pick different state, it's going to be different value, right? It's the same state. But if I sort by state code, see the number should be changing, right? However, that was descending. Oh, no sort. And I can sort ascending and descending, see? By state. This is Oklahoma, number should be changing because I'm looking at by state. So number should be different, right? Average monthly premium. And if I go, see, this is how you edit calculation, and this is going to be by state, and I round it. I take the average, and I round my average. Or I can take the round off if I no longer need it, right? Or state. Let's see if it's valid now. No. See, it's invalid. It's like this for some reason. Okay, so I'm going to do cancel. I leave it as is. Well, okay. Now, what's next? We got the calculation. Next thing is we're going to look at the, this was as a embedded calculations where every row, it's stored with every row, okay? Now what we can do, we can do the standalone calculation. I go here and I select the calculation, and the calculation is going to be overall average income, and what I'll do here is just this. I'm going to do average, and I'm going to just do the income, right? Income. What that will do, it will store just a single value. And what is this? What is this? This is the tab name, because this, we are creating the standalone calculations that will not be stored in the data row. It will be stored outside. So what you're doing in here is, this is the name of the sheet in Excel. Initial source is Excel. This is a sheet name, and this is a column name. That's why I like to drag and drop. That way I don't miss anything. Now, I just click on OK. And what does it do? It creates a separate calculation outside. See? This is a separate calculation. It's stored only once. If it's a single value, why do we need to store it with all data rows? We just store it once, right? Save. So we got the calculation, we got the standalone calculation. Next thing is going to be the data group. Well, another good example of data group is could be your grade. When the grade is submitted, when you receive the grade for assignment, it's a numeric grade, like 94%, 86%, etc. But when the grade is submitted to your academic record, it's a letter grade. So this is binning because grade 90 through 100 goes to A. Grade 80 through 89 is a B, right? So what you see in here, it's a bin. The data is binned. It's also called discretization. It's also called grouping. There are different names in different textbooks. All right. So now suppose that I want to create something called the income category. So I'm going to find my column called income. And if I don't see it right away, I can do the search here, income. There we go. Now what I'll do, I'm going to do create a data group. Create data group. This is a numeric column, right? For numeric columm, it predefines the groups for me. The default is 5 groups, and I've got the group boundaries. See this? If it's 79, 85 or higher, then it's going to be the top group. See that? So that's basically like this. The first group is this and above. This one is between 59989 to 79985, etc. You can change the ranges. You can change the number of groups also. You can specify what to do with missing values, but we handled missing values for that column, right? But you can specify what to do with those. I will go ahead and create it as is. And this is a column name, but you can change it always. It will add 2 columns. It's going to add the bin number, and it's going to add the actual new column. Bin number is going to be hidden, all right? If I go in here, that's what it did. It's added the income group, and this is hidden. And if I wanted to, I can see the formula. I go to properties. I can click on view and edit, and this is a formula that was generated for me. This is a code behind the data group that was generated for me. You just see it, all right? You don't need to edit it, but I just wanted to show you. Okay? So we did that. Next thing is that sometimes you want to be in categorical columns also. So I guess that one I'm going to be looking at policy type, right? So I can look at the policy column, right? So I click on policy. Well, do you see this a personal, corporate? See this corporate, you have personal L1, personal L2, personal L3, but I want to group all of this personal into one, right? So let's do this. I'm going to create data group. Notice that for the categorical, you don't have the predefined group. You have to define your groups. So here is a list of values that the column has. And what you need to do is you need to create new group. Suppose that I want to call this corporate, right? So that's my group, corporate. Then I have to add values to that group. So I just select the value and click on arrow. It will add this value to the group, right? And to remove, I will just click on this and click on the minus sign. That will remove, right? So I'll just go in and I add. And one more. Now I add another group, and I'm going to call it personal. And in the personal, I have it selected. I'm going to add these values. So basically, for the categorical columns, you need to specify the groups, not for numeric. And I'm going to do new, and it's going to be the special. Okay? Special, and then for special, I'm just gonna add these values. That's it. And here only one column will be added. I just go okay. Well, that's it. It just added a new column, and the new column is called the policy group. Something like that. So I scroll it, always add the column to the front. Policy group. See, this is what I just did. All right. Next thing. Well, don't worry about the number of slides because I covered most of the stuff already. We did the data groups. Right? For categorical and for numeric. We did the spiral model. Did not we? Yes, we did. The predictors with less than 10% of strengths are omitted. Remember? Each driver represented as a pin. See, we talked about that. We did the drivers. And you can select which columns you want to use as a driver, right? We did that piece, so we're skipping the slides. We talked about the driver analysis, didn't we? I covered in different order a little bit. We talked about the decision tree. Yes, I was right. The number of nodes is 36. But each leaf node cannot have less than 25 rows. So just remember that. So we talked about how to collapse the branch, how to expand, and we looked at the Sack-Burst diagram. We looked at reading the rules. We looked at this, right? We looked at this. The only thing that we did not look at this comparison thing. So now I save this data module, and I'm gonna close this, and let's go back to the exploration and see what happens. I click here and I click on open. Well, what's going to happen right now? If I go here, I see, what do I see? I see the calculation that I added. See this policy group, income group? It's in here. And this one is an annual premium. Did not I add them? Yes, I did, and I see it here. Why? Because I use that data module for this exploration, right? So I should see all my calculations here, right? So next thing that you need to do, what I will do is I'll show you, I'll go here, right? So this is the total claim by marital status. Perhaps I just pick this visualization, and I can add the filter, and the filter is, oh, let me remove this filter here. Remove, and I'm gonna add another filter. I'm gonna add a filter for the gender, right? So let's look at here, gender, oops, gender, I see it here. Gender, local filters, here we go. And for the gender, I'm gonna select the female. I'm gonna click OK. Next thing that I'll do is I'm gonna find this card in here. I'm gonna make a copy of this. Just do the duplicate. Okay, I duplicate. In this copy, I'll go back here, and instead of female, I click on filter. Instead of female, I want to do the male. Okay, and click OK. So this is male. Sometimes I want to compare if there is a difference, if the gender has an impact on the average total claim amount. So what I do is I select these two visualizations. One is filtered by male, another filtered by female, and I do this compare. That allows me to see the visualization side by side, see? And I can see that there is a slight impact for the merit. See, for the merit, see, this is a male. For male, average claim amount is slightly higher than for a female. I can see that. Yeah, in general, for male, it's slightly higher, but not for the divorce for some reason. I can do this comparison, see? That's another thing. Side-by-side comparison was the last topic of the night, and this is how to save the exploration, save it to my content. This is a playlist that I prepared for you. It's in the YouTube and there is a list in the classroom. So please watch those videos and enjoy them. I use the same data set for this. And basically I picked, well, some of these were students' questions, but sometimes you cannot answer the question in writing. It's easier to show. I recorded the video as an answer to the question, and then I decided I'll share with the rest of the class because someone else might have the same question, right? So you're gonna like this playlist. All right. Now we're gonna have questions and answers. I know it's a lot, but you will be watching portions of this recording more than once because it's a lot. That's a key to success. You have to watch it more than once, trust me. But let me see your questions. Please ask me questions. And I'll see if there's anything in the chat. I was trying to keep up, but did you discuss about the dashboard? I'm going to cover dashboards next time, okay? Next class, we're going to cover dashboards in the details. It's going to be for the dashboards and for the stories. It's going to be next session. So please go ahead and block your calendar. It's going to be in 4 weeks from now. So that's going to be on April 3rd, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. April 3rd. Block your calendar for April 3rd. We're going to have another session. We're going to talk about dashboards, stories, and what you're going to do for the assignment 5, the group assignment. Okay? I hope I answered your question. And yes, so basically for your you're gonna go for the data set. Remember, so I'll go to back to the. I'm gonna close it. Always close it when you exit, because you don't want to have any issues later on. Close. Well, just a reminder, it's in the team content. Data for assignments, right? And here, assignment 1 gets started. But please do yourself a favor. After this session, please make sure that you can access your account and that you see things as a team content. If you don't, the case, it's very easy to fix, all right? So basically, there are 2 things to check, very important. You can log in and that you see these folders in the team content. Because if you don't, there is something that I need to do on my end, okay? And it's very easy to fix. It's a no-brainer fix, but I need to know if you don't see it. Then I need to add you. There is a setting that I need to do for you, all right? Oh, which link? Oh, the link for this, vi.umgc.edu. You mean the link, you're talking about this link? Let me see. Which link are you talking about? This one, the link to, oh, for Cognos. It's this one, vdi.umgc.edu. It's here and it's also in assignment instructions, I think. It should be there, right? And you'll need to enter your university credentials. Then it's going to be your Cognos. And what are your Cognos credentials? It's the first part of your student email and the password. The password is made the same for everyone. Why? Because if me or another TA, if you have to log into your account to troubleshoot, right? Sometimes we have to log in as you to check. All right? And remember that you have the same permissions as the demo user. Okay? Cool? Your account has the same permissions as the account that I use right now. If not, then I have to add something to your account. All right? Because the role is defined, but I just have to add you to that role. See? So we need to make sure that you see stuff in the team content and that you can log in and everything is perfect because the role was defined. It's the same role for everybody, non-admin role. All right? The same for you, the same for my demo account. So just know that. So today we covered data module and exploration. Next class, we're going to cover how to do the dashboards, the stories, and the group work. Okay? And please ask me questions. I love questions. Your classmates will have the same questions, I'm sure. Anything you want me to cover. I know it's a lot, but you will be watching more than once. right? And please block your calendar in 4 weeks from now. No questions? Well, if there are no questions, we're gonna call it a night, and you're gonna get the recording. All right, you'll get the recording and you get the slides. So I'll stop the recording and I'll stop sharing. And hold on, let me see. Oh, okay, most welcome. I'm so glad. I hope it helped. So enjoy using the application. So I'll stop the recording.